Dear friends, she was going to her school friend's wedding. In the look of a completely ordinary woman, no government vehicle, no security, just like a regular girl riding a scooter. As soon as she reached near the city, she saw a police checkpoint ahead. 3 or 4 policemen were standing outside the checkpoint on the road, and Inspector Sanjay Kumar stood in uniform in the middle. As soon as she came closer, he signaled SDM Neelam Verma to stop with a wave of his stick. So Neelam Verma took her scooter off the road and parked it to the side. The inspector said in a stern voice, "Where are you going?" The inspector asked the question. Neelam Verma said, "It's my friend's wedding. I'm going there." Neelam Verma replied very softly. Inspector Sanjay Kumar looked her up and down. Neelam Verma was a beautiful 27-year-old woman. And then, smiling, he said, "Oh, going to eat at your friend's wedding feast? But will your aunt wear the helmet? Why didn't you wear it? And you were also riding too fast. Now, you'll have to pay a fine," Inspector Sanjay Kumar said as he pulled out the challan pad. Neelam realized that his intentions had turned bad, and this was just an excuse. She said, "Sir, I haven't broken any rule." "Oh, madame, don't try to teach us the law." He looked at a constable standing nearby, then looked back at Neelam and said, "She needs to be taught a lesson." Suddenly, the inspector slapped Neelam hard across the cheek. "Too many questions and answers. When the police say something, you should quietly obey." Neelam's head spun for a moment, but she gathered herself. The anger was clearly visible in her eyes. The checkpoint in-charge inspector laughed loudly and said to his companions, "Looks like she's still full of attitude. I've straightened out many like you. Seems I'll have to teach you properly." A constable stepped forward and said, "Sir, let's take her to the station. We'll take good care of her there. Then she'll understand how to talk to the police." A constable grabbed Neelam by the arm, yanked her roughly, and said, "Come on, get in the vehicle." Neelam jerked her hand away and said angrily, "Don't try to touch me, or the consequences won't be good." The inspector lost his temper. He said to one of his constables, "Look at her arrogance." A constable stepped forward, pulled Neelam Verma's hair, and tried to drag her forcefully. Neelam groaned in pain, but she still hadn't revealed anything about herself. She wanted to see how far and how low these people could go. Then a policeman angrily struck her scooter with a stick and muttered, "Acting all decent, are you? Now we'll play with your toy." Neelam Verma fully understood now what was going to happen to her and how far these people could stoop. There was rage in the inspector's eyes. He shouted loudly, "I've seen many like you with attitude. Think you'll mess with the police? Today, I'll show you your place. Take her to the station. We'll deal with her there." SDM. Neelam Verma was still silent. She had no intention of revealing her identity. She wanted to see how much disgrace these people could bring to the system. How far could their cruelty go? Inspector Sanjay Kumar was now irritated. Standing before him was a woman whose soft, beautiful cheek had been slapped, whose hair had been pulled, who had been forcefully dragged by the arm on the road, but she still stood completely silent like a statue. No scream, no sigh. Inspector Sanjay Kumar glared at his constables and growled, "Take her to the station. We'll sit and figure out what to do with this crazy woman." This silence was not fear, but a burning rage boiling inside. The inspector laughed and said, "Oh, so now your tongue has started working? Let's go to the station and see how far your tongue runs there." As soon as they entered the station, the inspector shouted at full volume, "Oye, where are you all? Serve the tea quickly. We've got a special guest today." Neelam Verma was still silently looking at the station walls. She was observing how these people treat the innocent who can never raise their voice. Then a constable leaned towards Inspector Sanjay Kumar and whispered, "What's the case, sir?" The constable asked. And Inspector Sanjay Kumar laughed and said, "Oh, nothing, man. Maybe a theft or a pickpocketing. Just write whatever you feel like. Just need to lock her up and break her pride. No need for too many questions." Neelam Verma was hearing everything, but her eyes still avoided expressing anything, as if she wanted the truth of these policemen's corruption to come out from their own mouths. Then the inspector sat down on a chair. He picked up a pen and began twirling it on the table. Then he fixed his eyes on Neelam and said, "Tell me your name. Where do you live? Who's your guardian?" Neelam remained silent. The inspector repeated the question. "Didn't you hear? What's your name?" But Neelam's silence remained like a stone wall. Then the inspector slammed his hand on the table so hard that the sound echoed through the whole station and shouted in anger, "Can't you hear? Tell me your name now." Without changing her expression, Neelam replied, "Yes, Neha Kapoor." The inspector stared at her face and laughed. "Oh, turns out you're smart. You're even experienced in lying. But remember, if you act too clever, you'll pay a heavy price. If you make even one mistake, you won't even get time to regret it." Neelam Verma was forcibly shoved into that filthy lockup, where two prisoners were already sitting. One of them looked at Neelam and said, "Sister, what crime have you committed?" Neelam gave a faint smile and said nothing. Now, she was just observing how rotten this whole system had become. If an SDM can be locked up without reason like this, then one can only imagine the condition of ordinary people. Neelam was now sitting in the corner of that cell, watching everything, listening carefully, and understanding every move. Inspector Sanjay Kumar had a false report written and said, "File a case of theft and blackmail against her." He slammed the file on the desk and said, "Come on, quickly." A constable asked, "But sir, without any evidence?" The inspector laughed and said, "In this station, we don't collect evidence. We create it." After a while, a constable came and slammed his hand on Neelam's shoulder, but there was no sign of fear on her face. The inspector had just raised his hand when suddenly a firm voice came from the door. "Stop right there." Everyone turned to look, and standing at the door was Shayo Surendra Singh, who was known to have a slightly different reputation from the rest. He glanced inside, and seeing the woman's condition, lines of concern appeared on his forehead. He asked, "What's going on here?" Sanjay Kumar smiled. "Nothing, sir. Just a street woman was getting too smart. We're teaching her a lesson." Surendra looked closely at Neelam. Her demeanor didn't seem like that of an ordinary woman. He asked, "What's her crime?" Sanjay panicked. He said, "Sir, she misbehaved during checking." Surendra sensed something was wrong. He asked Neelam, "What's your name?" Neelam remained silent. Sanjay laughed and said, "Sir, she's not even telling us her name." Surendra was now fully alert. He ordered the constable, "Put her in a separate cell." Sanjay was shocked. "But sir," Surendra said firmly, "I will stay with her myself." On his orders, Neelam was locked in another cell, which was even filthier and darker than before. Neelam looked around. In one corner, there was a broken table, and nearby lay a rusted iron rod. Now, she was seeing the real face of this dirty system up close. Every moment, her eyes understood that the law was now limited to just paperwork. Just then, a constable came running and said, "Sir, there's a big car outside." Sanjay Kumar jumped in fear. He asked, What car is it?" The constable replied nervously, "Sir, it's a government car." He quickly went outside, and as soon as he peeked inside the car, his eyes widened. He rushed back and whispered, "Sir." Sanjay Kumar snapped, "What happened? Who is it?" The constable stammered, "Sir, the DM is here." Sanjay Kumar's face turned pale. Sheo, Surendra Singh also became alert, because now the matter had gone straight to the top. The DM stepped into the station, and the anger was clearly visible in his eyes. He looked at Sanjay Kumar and asked in a stern voice, "Inspector Sanjay Kumar, what nonsense is going on here?" Sanjay replied nervously, "Nothing, sir, just a small case." The DM picked up the file from the table and read it carefully. Lines formed on his forehead. Then he looked into the cell and asked, "Who is this?" "Sir, this woman has been charged with 420 and fraud." The DM asked, "Do you have evidence?" He asked again, "Do you have any proof?" Sanjay was now completely trapped. The DM asked the woman directly, "What's your name?" And for the first time, Neelam Verma gave a faint smile and said, "SDM Neelam Verma." The entire police station fell silent. Everyone's faces turned pale. Sanjay Kumar's hands and feet started trembling. All the other constables stood in shock. The ground slipped from beneath Sanjay's feet. The officer he thought was a fraud turned out to be the very officer who ran the law for the entire district. She was no ordinary woman. She was none other than SDM Neelam Verma herself. The one who had been dragged on the road, had her hair pulled, and was slapped. As soon as this came to light, chaos erupted in the entire police station. All the constables were left speechless. The DM gave a piercing look at Inspector Sanjay Kumar and shouted angrily, "Sanjay Kumar, how dare you put false charges on a senior officer?" Sanjay tried to say something, but SHO Surendra Singh spoke up loudly, "Sir, I had already said something was wrong." Now Sanjay was completely isolated. Then Neelam Verma, in her calm but firm voice, delivered her first direct decision and said, "Sanjay Kumar, you're done with your job. Your suspension is confirmed, and a case will now be filed against you." Hearing this, Sanjay felt as if he couldn't breathe. The rest of the police turned their faces away from him. Surendra Singh immediately called out, "Constable, arrest him and put him in the lockup." But just then, Sanjay Kumar pulled a folded paper from his pocket and laughed. "Wait, madam, look at this first, then do whatever you want." And he showed the paper. Both the DM and Neelam Verma immediately looked at it. Sanjay said, "Here's my transfer order. 3 days ago, my posting was changed. Now, no matter how angry you get, you can't fire me from my job." The entire station was stunned again. Neelam took the paper in hand and read it. The DM glared and said to Sheo Surendra Singh, "Go and find out whether this paper is real or just for show." Surendra checked the record in the computer and looked up. "Sir, it's real, but he hasn't handed over the charge to the new inspector yet, which means he is still acting as the real inspector here, and all the wrongdoing has been done by him. Now, no one can save him." Neelam Verma looked straight into his eyes and said, "Now your new place will be the same one where you used to throw others. Constables, arrest him and take him inside." The DM also nodded in agreement. As soon as 2 constables moved to grab him, Sanjay played another card and said, "Wait, madam, I'm not alone. Do you think the entire fault is only mine?" Then he pointed towards the other policemen in the station and said, "They are all with me The entire chain is connected to the top. The color drained from some of the policemen's faces. Shaito Surendra Singh, sensing the situation, began to stare at each one of them. Neelam Verma looked at the DM and said, "Now this entire station will need to be cleaned out. No one will be spared." The DM also said, "As you command, ma'am." Now each and every one will be held accountable. And as soon as these words left his mouth, it was as if lightning had struck the station. Outside the police station, a few journalists were quietly standing, who already suspected something big was brewing inside. As soon as they got the news that the entire station was suspended, they started spreading the news from their mobiles. Now, this matter was not going to be buried. Just then, a long, black, shiny car with tinted windows pulled up in front of the station. The door opened, and the SSP himself stepped out. He looked around and saw everyone's faces downcast. All the officers in the station stood huddled to one side, and the SSP said, "How long has this circus been going on here?" But the DM and the station in charge stood completely silent. SDM. Neelam Verma looked straight into the SSP's eyes and said, "What do you think? You'll get away with this?" Surendra Singh quickly pulled out a file and handed it to Neelam Verma, a file that exposed all the shady dealings of the SSP. Neelam Verma handed that file toward the SSP and said, "Here, take a look. It's filled with all your crimes." Sweat began to drip from the SSP's forehead. The DM gave the order in a loud voice without delay. "Arrest him, and arrest him right now." The entire police station was stunned. Such a senior officer had never been confronted so openly before. As soon as the SSP was arrested, a storm erupted across the district. The matter reached all the way to Dhaka. The news even reached the CM, and from there came the direct order: arrest every officer involved in this corruption and throw them all behind bars. Within the next 2 days, over 40 police officers from across the district, more than 10 senior officials, and a handful of politicians were arrested. The entire air of Faridpur district had changed. Now, there was only one name on everyone's lips: SDM, Neelam Verma's honesty and courage, which had shaken the entire rotten system to its core. Now, the administration had a new pace, a new mindset, and above all, a new fear that no one would be spared anymore. Neelam Verma's mission was now complete. She had proven that if the intent is pure, then even an entire nation can change. So friends, if you like this story, please like and subscribe to the channel. Also, press the bell icon. Thank you.